Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this St. Patty's Day, Thursday, March 17, 2022. I'm Jeremy Crosby. Okay, so I pre-jumped the wardrobe. Badgers play tomorrow, but doesn't mean that I'm not in the basketball spirit. I'm also in the St. Patrick spirit, but with the technology we use, I don't think I can wear green anymore to get my draft. That's all I'm saying. But on that note, it is St. Patrick's Day, and it's special for that here in Fitchburg because we have a lot of heritage when it comes to St. Patrick's Day. And we're going to talk about some of that coming up today on a special interview with the Fitchburg Historical Society. Catherine Schneider will be here to talk about some of the history. In case you were wondering, like, oh, look, don't we have like a shamrock on our water tower? Isn't there like an Irish lane? Does that mean anything? Oh, yeah, it means something. We're going to break that down for you coming up here on St. Patty's Day. Plus, because it is basketball, this is where my shirt theme comes in now. Bring it back in here full circle. And we're going to talk some snack ideas, healthy snack ideas, fun snack ideas. Amy, our Hy-Vee dietitian, is here, and she'll help us prepare some great. I'm excited. We pre-taped this, I'll say that, but the food that she's picked out for us, I'm feeling pretty good. That's all I'm saying. So you're going to want to stick around. We have a great show here for you today. Let's get you some headlines as we work through this St. Patrick's Day. We start with the Quarry Ridge Recreation Area mountain bike trails. They are currently closed due to the wet weather. It is kind of wet out there right now, right? So riding wet trails is hard on the trails, and it pushes the mud to the sides, causing a depression, which then holds water, which causes lingering muddy spots over time. The depression gets bigger, and so on. You get the point. Stay off the trails. If you want more information on the trails, where to ride, you can check out madcitydirt.com, madcitydirt.com for more information. But please avoid those trails right now so they don't get damaged. Fitchburg Center Farmers Market, thinking warm because we had a warm week. I'm like, hey, when's that farmers market coming up? Well, we now have a date when they'll be returning here for the year. Get this on your calendar. The market returns Thursday, May 5th. Starts at 3 o'clock p.m. at your favorite place, of course, right under the overhang there in Promega area. And they have Agora, thank you. Mike, what's that overhang called, Andrew? Agora. Plus, they have some new vendors returning this season. So, got some of your favorites and some new ones. So, look forward to that wonderful produce products. And, of course, Andrew's favorite, goat milk soap. He loves that goat soap. Goat soap. He loves that stuff. So, get yourself, get that on the calendar and get ready for goat soap. Anton Drive, shots fired and arrest to tell you about. Madison man was appeared in Dane County Court yesterday on charges related to a Monday morning shots fired incident in Fitchburg. And Miguel 40 was charged with a second-degree reckless endangering safety, carrying a handgun where alcohol is sold and consumed, carrying concealed weapon, and possession of a firearm while intoxicated. This incident began shortly after midnight Monday morning when 911 callers reported gunshots in the area of Williamsburg Way and Verone Road. Fitchburg police officers were in the area, heard additional shots, and officers saw, I think it is Fenn, walking on Anton Drive several minutes after the gunshots. Shortly after he was spotted, officers saw Fenn throw something into the tree line along the road. Upon further investigation, officers determined that was a handgun. Fenn later told officers he was walking home after drinking at a bar. He said he fired the gun during the walk because he had not shot it recently. Officers determined at least 2 rounds struck a business and noted that the gun was fired in a densely populated area. No injuries were reported. Anyone with information is asked to contact Masonry Crime Stoppers, our tipster line, or the Fitchburg Police Department, 270-4300. Madison Metro has a survey out. We want to make sure you have an opportunity to take this. This is in regards to the redesign plan of 2023. Review the draft plan online or at any of the Madison libraries. Printed surveys are now available on the bus or by mail or by calling 608-266-4466. Review the complete information and take the online survey if you can. To get your feedback. There will be a public information meeting about this coming up here at the end of March. All right, since it is St. Patty's Day, Ready Wisconsin wants to get you ready, and it says, let your kit be your lucky charm. Charm, Andrew? make that go big today, and don't forget to include water, food for several days, flashlight, batteries, and radio, first aid kit, cell phone charger, and of course a pot of gold. If that's not in your vehicle, I don't know what is. Okay, so don't put the pot of gold in there. Probably not a good idea. Maybe you could dump out the gold and put all of the stuff that you need for your vehicle in the pot and run with it. All right. Andrew says move on. We'll wrap up here. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about more about St. Patrick's Day here in the city of Fitchburg. Talk about that heritage of the Irish settlers next, right here on Talking Fitchburg.
It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus, so follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. Use a delivery service for essential items like food and medicine. If you must make essential trips, stay 6 feet apart from other people. Wear a cloth face covering and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Hey, boss. Okay.
I said I'm fine.
Me to bed, see you in the morning with the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it, and we lost it. In my head, in my head, in my head. Where you at? Underlay in my head.
Hey, son.
Hey, Bob.
You know you can talk to me.
Yeah.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. Ready! That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year, no one has time to get sick. Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Happy St. Patty's Day. And we couldn't celebrate St. Patty's Day without begging and pleading. And no, she didn't. I didn't even take that much. I just had to ask her. I didn't wait a little bit till the last minute to ask her. But Catherine Snyder, Fitchburg Historical Society, everything St. Patrick's, Irish, she's got it all. And happy St. Patrick's Day to you. And thank you so much for joining me today here on Talking Fitchburg.
It's always a pleasure, Jeremy. And so happy St. Patrick's Day to you too. It's always a special day for me because my family name is O'Brien with deep roots in Fitchburg. And so it's just a pleasure to look over some of the influence of the Irish in Fitchburg through the years. I thought I'd like to start with just a opening paragraph from the book by Tom Kenny, which is Irish Settlers in Fitchburg, early Irish settlers in Fitchburg. And it opens up this way. On a crisp November day in 1842, two Irish immigrant brothers in their 20s drove a horse and buggy through Oak Woods along an Indian trail that ran from Janesville to Madison. As they entered the township that was to become known as Fitchburg, the young men pulled up their buggy at a small log hotel on the banks of a pond where it is said that the skies overhead would blacken from time to time with immense flocks of migratory birds. So this is actually where Oak Hall was, at the corner of Fish Hatchery and M that they're referring to here.
Wow.
A man named Harvey Bush, who had recently established one of the first farms in the township, offered to guide them to prime, unclaimed land 2 miles to the east. They rode out to view the property, which turned out to be gently rolling prairie land interspersed with oak groves. After canvassing the promising territory, Harvey Bush turned to the brothers and uttered his now legendary line, "It's fine land, but it's such an out-of-the-way place." So these brothers
awesome.
were George and Dr. William Fox, and they found that land was exactly what they were looking for. So they went to the land office in Milwaukee, purchased the tract of land there, and then they came to live in Fitchburg as the first Irish settlers in June of 1843. And this area became known as the Fox Settlement in Fitchburg. and it was the beginning of the development of the Irish agricultural settlement of Fitchburg. So this would have been, the Fox property would have been very near Oregon, Wisconsin, and just on the edge where Oak Hill Correctional Facility is now. So that's where they located that first farm. So there were actually 3 Irish settlements, agricultural settlements in Fitchburg in those early days from about the 1840s through the 1860s. That first one was the Fox settlement with those 2 brothers, George and Dr. William Fox. And actually, Dr. William Fox was one of the first doctors in the region. So they came from a pretty educated, well-to-do family, actually. So their time coming there was June of 1843. Then the next settlement would have been on Irish Lane, well named.
Appropriately named there, right?
Yeah, very appropriately named, right off of Fish Hatchery Road. And that settlement was came to be in 1844, so a couple of years after the Fox settlement, but pretty early on, even pre the potato famine in Ireland, which happened from about 1848 into the early 1850s. So this preceded it with early Irish settlement. The early settlers there were the Kinney family, Andrew and his brother Michael. The Kinneys are still there on the homestead. And then a settlement grew around them. And then the third settlement, the latest of these Irish settlements, was after 1850, right around that time, and that was Stoner Prairie, where Stoner Prairie School is now, and that along Seminole Highway. And by that time, most of those folks those Irish would be immigrants who would be escaping the potato famine, which was really devastating their homeland of Ireland. So it became, those 3 settlements, really a heart of one of Dane County's largest rural Irish communities. And just to give you an idea, the 1860 census in Fitchburg, there were 213 households. Can you imagine that total number in Fitchburg?
Can't even.
And 76 of those were Irish families. So about 30% of Fitchburg were Irish. The head of the households were Irish born in 1860. So just to give you an idea of some of the names, since it's St. Patrick's Day, here we go. Berries, Burns, Grady's, Lacey's, McQuillans, Sweeney's, Wayland's. And then in the late 1800s into the early 1900s, O'Brien's and Dunn's, which are actually my relatives, families purchased farms along Seminole Highway too, and those families are still present in that area. As are so many of the other families are still there since those early families. So influence remains in Fitchburg. Those farms they created were passed on from generation to generation. Strong sense of family and creating, the idea of growing crops and selling them and being productive members of the community. Very strong ethic there, work ethic. And then I just wanted to say, even up to the present time, I'm saying the influence is there of the Irish. So we can see that if you drive through Fitchburg, you or walk or bike or however you're getting through Fitchburg, a means of transportation, we have the names of the roads. So you can name some of them, Jeremy. I know.
You already said Irish, and I'm just thinking of everything rural Fitchburg, which I think it's still interesting if you really think about it too, that most of the rural area is it represents it is Fitchburg, but it's still rural. It's still undeveloped. It's still like it was, like, it's almost like it's been, we have built on it, and there's certainly things have changed over the years, but I always find that fascinating that, when we're talking about the history of Fitchburg, it really is the other direction. It's not where when we're close to the Madison, where a lot of our homes are. we still got this cool rural area, and it really is the true, the Fitchburg. Not that any place isn't anywhere else. It's just when you think about, and I think about, and only because I've gotten to hear some of the stories from you, but when I think of Seminole and the railroad and those sort of things that are still somewhat out there, the bike path representing, that same path and going down Went Road, and yeah, it's awesome. But tell us some of those road names, because there's a bunch of them.
There are. So if you think of the roads going east and west through Fitchburg, main thoroughfares, McKee, Lacey, Wayland. And then there are maybe not quite as prominent roads, but well-known still, Purcell, Byrne, Lawler, McCoy. So I'm sure folks recognize those names. And then there are also parks, of course, that we have those Irish names maintained. So there's a Gorman Wayside, which is at the top of the hill on Fish Hatchery Road, where the City Hall used to be located many years ago. There's McGaw Park on Lacey Road, East Lacey. McKee Farm Parks, again on East McKee Road near Fish Hatchery. And there's Burnwood Park, which is also on Fish Hatchery Road. So, they those parks somewhat parallel some of the settlements also. So I think today to particularly appreciate the influence of the Irish and their contributions to Fitchburg through 180 years. That passage I read at the beginning here, as the Fox brothers were surveying the land, was in 1842. That's almost 180 years ago. So that's a strong influence of the Irish through the years, consistent influence. So I'm just happy to acknowledge that, and a certain sense of pride of descending from some of those families.
I think you appreciate it more knowing, that you're still hearing those names, that there are still some of the families still at these farms and or been memorialized or are being remembered because of all of the different names, the parks. So it's quite an honor, and it's been an honor to have you, Catherine. Thank you so much for pulling this together for us. And I love the I can't wear green. I first off, I thought the Badgers played today, so I blew that one. But I can't wear green because I'm on a green background. So I love the green, and I love the earrings there too. So thank you so very much. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and thank you for our history and all your help. We appreciate that so much, Catherine.
Oh, you're so welcome. My pleasure, Jeremy.
All right, we'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Brandon met a girl on a dating app. He finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving.
She must be a keeper.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining us from Hy-Vee, we got Amy back here, our registered dietitian, and she's going to help us get ready for the big game weekend. That's basketball weekend coming up, March Madness in full swing, and we're going to talk about some fun meal. When we were talking about planning this, we're like, can you find us some fun appetizer stuff to like make this, kind of get out, you want to enjoy those comfort foods, certainly, but you can make some things pretty healthy and still pretty fun too, and I think people are looking for that unique touch. So as we're starting to plan this game day, what are some things we should think about?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, we do want to enjoy some of those favorites that maybe aren't going to be, the healthiest choices, but maybe sneak in some things that are healthy. And I think, rather than kind of having that separation of this side of the table is all the stuff that everyone wants to eat, and the other side of the table are kind of your healthier options that nobody's going to touch, we can maybe come at it from a little bit different angle and get a little bit creative in terms of mixing in some things together. So it's not just, the veggie platter that everyone walks by on their way to the wing platter. So yeah, I've got some little bit more creative ideas that people could try this year.
That may or may not be me passing that vegetable tray, but I like this next tip here, and that's taking your favorite instead of setting them out, include them into the dish itself, or incorporate it somehow. Tell us how that works.
Yeah, so lots of different ways you can do this. So a couple examples, maybe, so if you were going to make burgers or even little meatballs that you were going to serve with some sauce, it's really easy to mix vegetables into those types of things. Just chop them up really small. So things that, would blend well would be onions or even mushrooms. You could even do bell peppers, really anything you've got on hand, just chop it up small enough and just mix it in with that meat mixture, and then make your burger patty or meatball and cook it up like you normally would. So again, you're incorporating that vegetable into that main item. Another thing is looking at the sauce as well. So again, if you're serving a sauce to dip meatballs in, or, a wing sauce or something like that, if you saute up some vegetables, you can throw them in a food processor and puree them right into that sauce. So again, it's going to blend in really well. You're going to get that extra nutrition from the vegetables, and people really aren't even going to notice that it's there.
Yeah, I like that idea. It's kind of a creative way to get it in there. And you can tell everybody, don't worry, I got you covered on your veggies.
Right?
It's right in there. You're like, no, Jeremy, that's not what I meant. But I think it's good. And then just other things. I like thinking about mini too. Like you're thinking of those smaller things, but even taking like your favorites, like a burger, maybe even a small brat, and making it into miniatures kind of helps break things up a little bit.
Definitely. And that way you can get more variety in that way as well. So instead of serving a really, a full-size burger or a full-size brat, like you mentioned, if you're serving miniatures, you can get some more variety that way. And that, again, might leave some space on plates for some of the other things that you have on your party plate as well, or party table.
No, I'm a big sauce guy, so I got to go back to this, and this would be the weekend where you're thinking your dips, your bean dips, your whatever dips. But as you mentioned, you still can you can replace those out with some other types of dips. So maybe you're thinking hummus or guac. There are other ways to incorporate besides your traditional unhealthy dips.
Yeah, so I like to always serve a variety of dips. So whether it's I'm going to put out chips and crackers, or if I am going to maybe put out a little veggie tray, if I think people might want to go for that, or meatballs or anything like that, it's nice to have that variety of dipping sauces. That's a good way to get those heart healthy fats in as well. Not just thinking about vegetables, but thinking about heart healthy fats. So things like guacamole is a great option. You can dip a lot of different things in guacamole. Hummus is another good one. You can get a lot of different flavor varieties of hummus, a roasted red pepper or a garlic. So again, you're kind of appealing to some different tastes that your guests might have, or even salsa works with a lot of different things. One thing I like to do is just take plain Greek yogurt and mix in some ranch dip seasoning with that. And that's a really quick and easy veggie dip that you can put out, and again, you're just offering that variety for people.
Yeah, that sounds I would have never even considered doing that, and that's it's so simple, and people will be like, oh, is this a homemade recipe? Like, yeah it is. It's really good, trust me. And you heard it here, right here on TF. All right, a couple of fun dishes to talk about. First one, this buffalo cauliflower, and maybe you're looking for a different way to change up the wings. Like, you can make that texture and flavor with cauliflower.
Yeah, and we'll provide the recipe link for people if they want to check that out. The idea is that you're having the same flavor from a sauce that you would with the wings, but you're using cauliflower instead. And I wouldn't necessarily suggest that you completely replace the wings with the cauliflower, but I think offering both, again, is a nice way to get that vegetable in to something that you're really already eating. You know, you've got the wings in there and the cauliflower just kind of blends in really well. Using the same sauce for both would be a great way to incorporate that.
Yeah, it sounds like a good meal there. And you're right. It probably can't replace it for all, but it's another good filler, and it's right in there with good flavor. I got to know about this. This one's very interesting. This Greek 6-layer salad dip, or Greek 6-layer dip. I keep wanting to say salad every time I look at it, but it's a dip, and it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, and that's another recipe that we've got on Hy-Vee.com that we can give the link for. And again, just like as I talked about with offering different dips, it's just another way to get that variety in. It's just another option for people to use as they, want to snack on vegetables or chips or crackers or things like that.
So ultimately, to sum it up, you can enjoy good food, but overall, we can mix in and make this fun without just your same old tray of veggies, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So you don't have to, it doesn't have to be an either or, right? You can enjoy the game, you can enjoy your snacks, and then you can still kind of sneak those veggies in as well. So yes, it's a win-win.
Win-win. Oh, I like it. I like it indeed. A slam dunk, as you would say.
Yes.
Amy's like, never again. All right, Amy, if people want to learn more about what Hy-Vee has to offer as far as either great meal tips, you've got the freezer meal workshop, you got a lot of great things. How can they find out more about those?
Yeah, the best way really is just go to our website, Hy-Vee.com. Once you're on the website, you can tab down to the dietitian page. And that's where we've got information on all of our current programming. And then you can get in touch with individual dietitians that way as well. So that's the best way to kind of keep up to date with what we've got going on.
All right. Well, I was already hungry before we started this. Now I'm starving. So I'm going to cut this interview and go try out that cauliflower buffalo sauce thing. And you have good luck in your party planning. And I bet you throw some pretty cool parties too. Just the back of my mind, like you've got good food tips. So certainly that. But either way, thank you for joining us, and we'll check back with you real soon.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks.
You betcha. Like I said, check out Hy-Vee's website for more information on all the great stuff we talked about today. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show for today. I want to thank Amy from Hy-Vee, our dietitian, helping us out with some great snack ideas for our March Madness event. And, of course, Catherine Schneider from the Fitchburg Historical Society helping us talking about the Irish heritage of Fitchburg in a very diverse community. But we were talking about that afterwards, and that's just something special about this city, not just the Irish heritage, but, still is St. Patrick's Day. Stay safe out there, everybody.